Joining me now on the Flow Friday Night Sports Show, it's Roly Day, our footy correspondent from Robe. He's the assistant coach of the Robe B grade and he's covering the Mid South Eastern Footy League for us. Roly, lovely to be speaking to you. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, Dan, and welcome to the Footy Reports. It's good to hear your voice.
Thank you. Good to hear yours too. And let's talk about Mid South Eastern Footy. A-grade action this weekend is a bit of a surprise in the grand final. Kalangadoo taking on Hatherleigh, and I must say, just looking at the scores, I would have thought Port Macdonald sitting on top of the ladder might have been there, but they got done in the prelim, 14-14, 98 to 2-9, 21. What happened here?
Yeah, well, Hatherleigh came out right from the start. They had the wind in the first quarter, and there was quite a breeze blowing. So at Robe, so Port Mac only kicked a point in the first quarter, and Hatherleigh got away to a great start, kicking 5-goal-1, and then really they just held the game all day, and they played a really good game of footy. They're a quality side, Hatherleigh. They've snuck up on a few teams, I think. So they'll be hard to beat this week. But, Michael Telford, he got best player for them, and he played a really good game. And then the league medal runner-up, Jed Telfer, he played another good game. He's a very good footballer, and backed up by Will Shea and Lyndon Smith and Bradley Mitchell. So those boys played a really good game. And the Port Mac guys just didn't really turn up. They were behind all day and just looked slow and just couldn't get in the game. But their better players were Will McDonald and Wade Chant, Ethan Gladman, the coach Josh Woodall, who was also the male medalist, and then Ben O'Dine and Jake Turner tried hard. So a bit of a turn up, but it'll be a very interesting grand final this week.
So Hatherleigh into the grand final from fourth. I don't think many would have been expecting that, but they obviously had that belief, and I'm sure they'll carry that belief into the grand final this weekend. And poor Port Macdonald, it should have been a home grand final for them finishing on top, but instead it'll be Kalangadoo and Hatherleigh battling it out on their field. So who do you think wins this one?
Well, yes, I think the way Hatherleigh have come through, we've watched they beat Robe quite easily in the first final, and then made us feel a bit better about ourselves last week when we watched them beat Port Mac. Yeah, they've got some very good footballers all over the ground. There's, as I said, Jed Telfer, the runner-up in the male medal, and Jack Skier up forward, and the two Telford boys and the Che brothers, and there's some Batemans, and of course, Tom Hutchison, the ex-GWS footballer, he's just a very quality football player and rises to those occasions. One to watch would be Jared McGrath. He's the coach of the team and a really smart back player, just reads the play very well. But he finished the game on crutches last week, but there's the talk that he probably will be playing. So, he must have some good powers of recuperation. But and Kalangadoo, they've got good players all over the ground as well. They're hard and they're tough, and the McManus brothers and Bromley Jones and the captain Lowe. Ben Gregory's probably he might be a bit like McGrath, whether he plays or not. He got knocked out in the second semi, quite a nasty knock to the head, and so I'm not sure if he'll grace the field, but he's a very good centre-half forward, and if he plays, he's a very dangerous player. And then Liam Hay, the big ruckman. So both teams match up really well. It was a cold, wet, windy day when they played in the second semi, and Kalangadoo were just harder at the ball that day. But I think the weather's going to be beautiful tomorrow, and down at Port Mac, the Oval's looking a treat, and I think Hatherleigh will get up on a good day. So, Hatherleigh for me.
Alrighty, there we go. The tip is in for Hatherleigh. Let's have a look at the B grade, where once again it will be Kalangadoo playing Hatherleigh this weekend in the grand final, because unfortunately for your men, it was, they would have surely gone in as underdogs taking on Hatherleigh, who only lost once all year until the finals, and it was a pretty tight game. Robe went down 7-7-49 to Hatherleigh 9-10-64. Hatherleigh led at every change, but it was very, very close. So tell us a little bit about how this game went.
Yeah, it really was. It was a good game all day, actually, Dan. It was as you say, it was a close game, and there was only 10 points in it at three-quarter time, and we were coming home with the breeze, so we were relatively confident we could come home. But we had our chances. We kicked a couple of points and missed a couple in that last quarter, and then we gave away a couple of silly frees and a couple of 50s, and just lacked a bit of discipline. And Hatherleigh were more switched on and got over us. But, Jed Rignier down back played a really good game, and Bram Whittlesey on the ball. Our whole backline played a really good game with Glenn Brooks and Nick Hurst and Ethan Cornish running off a forward flank, and then Dougal Day at full back. So there were quite a few good players for Robe through the day. We just let it slip at the last moment, which was disappointing. But the boys had a good year and did pretty well for the amount of ins and outs we had all year. Hatherleigh, to their credit, we talked about them last week. They've got some very good footballers running around in their reserves that have had a lot of A-grade experience. And, so Jack Faulkner, he's always dangerous, and Jacob Lang, Jason Faulkner, and Jack Olschwager kicked three, and Jack Marino, he played well too. Yeah, they've got a good side, and Kalangadoo, well, they've got a lot of experience as well. So they've got the Mules brothers who, are just part at the footy and very skilled and have a heap of experience. Ben Mules played a fair bit of footy at Glenelg. Then Nathan Reeves, who was runner-up best and fairest for the league. He's another old head that's, very handy around the ball. Brett Linder, Justin Mansell. Yeah, they're names that have been around forever, and they both teams are very experienced and know what finals are about. But I think Hatherleigh might win both of the two senior grades.
All right, the tips are in for Hatherleigh in the A and in the B grade as well. So bad luck by the Robe Rezzies, unable to get over the top there, but a really good effort. Let's have a look at the under 17.5s, where Robe will be featuring in the grand final, taking on Port MacDonald after Robe were able to beat Tantanoola last week, 9-8-62 to 6-6-42.
Yeah, that's right, Dan. It was another really good game of footy, and the Robe boys just played really good team footy, actually. And a lot of times in under-17 footy, we see that one or two players sort of dominate. Well, Robe have been sharing the ball around really well and using each other with really good team play. So it's really pleasing to see. And Coach Sam Hoodman has got the boys really on track, and they're playing good footy. So it was quite close. Half-time, Tant were up, and then Robe had the wind in the third quarter and kicked away. They kicked 5-3, which in a great quarter of footy, and held Tant to 2 points. And then everyone was a bit worried about the wind with Tant coming home with it, but Robe locked them right down and managed to kick another one goal in the last quarter and just sealed it. The best players again were Max Robinson, who's had a great year, and Flynn Peel, Jimmy Murch, Cooper Thomas, and Caden Carter. So the Tant boys, their best players were Cade Kelly, Ellis Cushion, and Eli Bowman.
Alrighty, so Robe coming from fourth, 9-7 on the season, and Tantanoola, well, they were 14-2 on the season, but they go out in straight sets. So well done to Robe on that upset win. And Robe, Port MacDonald should be a sensational grand final. And just before we go, we better get a tip in the under-14s as well. Port MacDonald 5-8 over Hatherleigh 0-3, 38-3 the final score in prelim action on the weekend. So it will be Glencoe taking on Port MacDonald in this grand final. Top two teams all year, 15-1 apiece. Who do you think wins the grand final in the under-14s?
There's a couple of good players in both sides. I think Glencoe will be too strong. They've got the league medalist, Callan Price, playing for them, and then the runner-up for the medal when Harry Carroll plays for Port Mac. So those two guys will be going head-to-head, and we'll have a fair say on who wins. And I'll just give a yell-out to the netball girls too. Robe have got two netball sides in, the B netball girls and the A reserves. So good luck to those girls. There's Ella Mackey in the reserves. She's the runner-up best and fairest, and Amy Weatherald, and they play up forward, and Maddie and Georgie Worth and Amanda Cully in defence for the B grade, and a few of my favourite girls, Lily Faulkner-Hunt and Jade Rignier and Keelan Winterfield and Taylor Martin. They're the B grade girls taking on Kalangadoo at 2:15, and then the A reserves, who have been undefeated all year, they take on Kalangadoo as well at 1 p.m. So the girls lining up there are Sarah Laurie and Ash Hunt in goals, and Emily Gould, and Alana Jennings, Kim Austin, Karen Moore are holding down the defence, and runner-up best and fairest for the league, Kim Ross, Stacey Woodward, and Macy Hayes playing for the A reserve. So good luck to those girls and good luck to the boys in the senior colt. So hopefully we can bring 3 wins home, and the club rooms are open tomorrow night. Everyone get back there and hopefully celebrate 3 big wins.
All right, fingers crossed for you, Roly, and great shout out for the netball girls there as well. You're all over it. Thank you for your time today. We'll chat to you again soon.
Good on you, Dan. Thank you.